Welcome to Navigate STL Schools, a podcast. Today we are sitting down with Eva and Devon from Blues for Kids, and we have a really exciting announcement. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Eva O'Shea. I am the Senior Manager of Community Development and Blues for Kids at the St. Louis Blues.
And I am Devon Furash, the Senior Coordinator of Community Development and Blues for Kids at the St. Louis Blues.
Awesome. Okay, so before we get started, we ask everybody the exact same question, and that is, what is your personal K-12 education story?
So I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't have anything interesting. Which I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and where I grew up, I went to public education my entire life. There was one school, and that's where we went, and there was no choices really. So the process was very easy. I didn't really know a lot of people that went through the private school system. And then I ended up going to a private college, but that was, very different for me than the public education system. So, it's very uninteresting.
I actually, now kind of thinking about it as we were waiting, I did go to school for a year in Shanghai, China. My family, we moved there as expats, and I did third grade in international school. So I feel like that'll be the one education claim to difference.
That's super cool. I don't know that we had anybody that had an international education. We really asked that question because we like to highlight that there are so many different ways that people experience school that leads to how they interact with the world as adults. And it's so interesting because we also talk to a lot of people that are not from St. Louis. And it's so cool to meet like so many transplants, that's what we call them, the city transplants to St. Louis City, and how all of our different backgrounds in the work that we do to impact kids and the greater St. Louis community is just natural. It doesn't matter if you're a private school, international school, with even the public school. We talked to one guy, he went to a town, he lived in a town, small town, that one school for everyone. So they did not leave that building K through 12. And it's like,
no, I cannot imagine somebody doing
it. All right, so our big news is we got a grant. We are so excited to announce that we were one of the recipients for the Blues for Kids Captains Award. And so would you guys like to talk to us about, one, what is Blues for Kids? And what's your captain's grant?
Yeah, so do you want to touch on what Blues for Kids is, and then I can talk a little bit about the Captain's grant?
Absolutely. Blues for Kids is the charitable trust of St. Louis Blues. We're the foundational arm of the professional organization. We have 4 pillars of giving that we primarily focus on within the St. Louis community, and that's education, cancer care and awareness, health and wellness, and youth hockey. So it's really, exciting to see every year the reach that we can grasp within the community, and just to spread our reach and resources throughout St. Louis.
Yeah, and so the Captain's Grant is actually a fairly new thing that we've done within Blues for Kids. And we've done a lot of traditional funding in the past where we've given grants anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000. And that reach is pretty wide. We touch about 80 different organizations on an annual basis with that. But the Captain's Grant was really developed in an effort to be more intentional and impactful with our giving. So when we give a Captain's Grant, it means that we really believe in the mission of that organization. We want to lift that organization up and partner with them in a mutually beneficial relationship where we can have a really big impact. So that's what the purpose of the Captain's Grant is, of why it exists.
So exciting.
I know.
So before we talk more about the Blues and Blues for Kids, why and how was Navigate STL Schools selected?
So, for us, we have had in the past, I would say 2 to 3 years, education has become very, very important to Blues for Kids. We have so many kids that come to our games, that come through our doors, and education is so important for our future fans, right? For us, we felt like Navigate was doing something that other organizations weren't, and you guys are providing tangible resources for children and families in the St. Louis area from the start, from the get-go, and, trying to set them up for success in their education. And we felt so strongly about that And then I think, for me, and I'll let Devon speak for herself, but really seeing the knowledge and the passion and the dedication that the Navigate staff had was really inspirational for us.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, this was probably one of the easiest yeses that we have had, and education is a huge pillar and a huge factor, and truly affects, our next generation of, blues fans that we see, and it's a huge piece. And it's good to know for families, especially if they're new to the area or if they're still navigating it, they're not alone. And there's organizations that are here to help.
Also, that is like super validating for myself and our team. We're so excited to have you guys supporting our regional kindergarten access guide. And so that's enough about us. I am not a sucker for toot our own horn. We want to learn more about the blues and blues for kids. So St. Louis loves a sports team. Like I very much was just talking to our producer. He has on a St. Louis hat. St. Louis pride runs deep.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about the history of the blues and their footprint in the St. Louis community.
Yeah, so the blues have been around since 1967. And I was actually doing a little of my own research to prepare. So our name is actually after a song called, I think it's called In St. Louis Blues or something like that.
I think it's like the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
It's like the blues.
So
The music.
Okay.
And so if you actually, the past couple of years, we've been emphasizing, and you'll see in our pregame shows, this idea of rhythm and blues, and that it's really embedded in the city of St. Louis.
I can see that so much musical history here. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's kind of where the name comes from. And then specifically Blues for Kids was started for a player, actually, number 14. It started as the 14 Fund, Doug Wickenheiser, and he was facing a cancer diagnosis. And so the team rallied around. 14 Fund was started in an effort to provide funding for his treatment and for his family. And so after he passed away, the fund continued to provide for cancer care and awareness initiatives in the St. Louis area. And then Blues for Kids just kind of grew out of that. So we started to provide funding outside of that cancer care and awareness pillar to include the other pillars that Devon had touched on earlier. And so we morphed into Blues for Kids from there.
Awesome. And you mentioned that education has recently become a huge focus for the team. Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the education pillar obviously is a huge staple within the community. Obviously, there are 3 others, but education is something that we wanted to grow, and we've seen a lot of great things come out of it. There are a few existing initiatives that the Blues have created and have grown. There's future goals, which help schools in creating STEM programs for their students and resources like that. There is the Blues Bookworms program, which is run by someone in our department, and it provides prizes and reading initiatives for classes anywhere in St. Louis. And they get prizes if they read a certain number of minutes, including, like a video from a player saying, congratulations, you've done this amount of minutes. Like, it's really, really cool to see. And then a new program that I worked on this summer, which is Louis Little Free Libraries, providing Louis-themed and Blues-themed free libraries within the community at our partnered youth hockey rinks to expand the love of reading and book access.
That is, wow.
It's been busy.
Very much. So there are going to be some people that are going to say, like, well, what does hockey have to do with school? And so, like,
That's a good question.
How does a sport like hockey actively help kids in their academic classroom?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen, and I think I can speak to one program in particular, the huge impact that hockey has for children in it and outside the classroom, and that's our North City Blues program. So this program buses in kids from KIPP schools in North City. We provide all the transportation for them. They come to Enterprise Center, and the first session is all of them is our Learn to Skate session. So we teach them how to skate. They're not even in hockey gear at this
Roller
point.
skate or ice skate?
Ice skate.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, yes. They're on the ice. They're on these. And most of these kids are kids that may not even know what hockey is, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and then
I learned what hockey was from Mighty Ducks.
See, there we go. There we go.
Perfect.
And then the second part of that, so they complete this first session, it's 8 weeks, and then the second session is our Learn to Play session. So that's when they're actually given sticks, given pucks, They're putting on the gear and they're learning how to play hockey. But it's not just that, right? They're learning confidence, they're learning teamwork, they're learning communication. And those are, a lot of those kids don't always have the opportunity to participate in a team sport because they don't have the resources, they don't have the transportation.
A lot of charter schools, unfortunately, don't have strong sports programs either. So yes,
exactly. So we're trying to eliminate those barriers for them so that they can learn those skills and apply them in the classroom. And then the other component of that is that after these kids finish this program, we try and help them play in an association post. Yeah. So we're trying to set them up for success so that they can continue the sport outside of our programming. And then we also have partnered with the Blues Museum so that there's an off-ice component for these kids as well. So last year we had our learn to skate kiddos.
Skate kids.
They were learning how to play the bucket drums. And then our learn to play kids built guitars from scratch. So
my God.
Yeah. So
I
know. It was a paint nightmare. There was paint everywhere, but it was so fun. And these kids were like so proud of what they had done. And, even just them learning how to like put on the skates and put on the gear and hold the stick, like that's so validating, such a confidence booster. And it gives them something, gives them a little bit of structure and gives them something to look forward to every week. So there's definitely a lot of ties in with education. I know that was very long-winded.
I mean, that's amazing. I think that a lot of times we forget about like these soft skills that kids can learn from teamwork environments or even just the idea of learning through play that can have a deep impact on education. Because if I can skate on knives, that I could definitely pass this math.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like that mentality too. That's
Yes. I mean, like it's A to B. But no, that's really, as a kid, that was my mind frame. If I could do this one thing, this wasn't even that hard. I could do this next thing. Did either of you play hockey? No.
So in our department, Devon and I are the odd men out.
We're the only two?
Yeah, we're like the only two that either didn't play hockey or didn't ice skate really. I have ice skated, but I have not shown off my skills yet. So I don't think anybody on the team actually believes that I can do it.
I used to pretend that I was in the Olympics, like I was an Olympic ice skater. And that failed miserably the first time I
no.
So
it's the right mentality to go in with, but it doesn't always.
Yeah, it's like if you had asked me, I was Michelle Kwan and we were going to get it done. When he put me on the ice, I was flat on my face.
That's me too.
So not an ice skater.
No.
Nope. Land sports, not ice.
So how did you guys get involved in the team?
Yeah, so my story is, I would say, unusual to most. Never in 1 million trillion billion years did I ever think I would be working in professional sports. And in fact, my friends will make fun of me because they claim that I am the least athletic person in the world. So my background is in nonprofit fundraising. I worked at a couple local organizations here in St. Louis doing development work. And I actually wrote an application for a captain's grant at the last organization I was at, and worked very closely with the Blues for Kids team when my organization was awarded the grant, on sort of the logistics and the partnership and what that looked like and coming to fruition. And as an organization, I was just so impressed with the way that Blues for Kids came out as a partner, because they were so dedicated to making sure that my organization was, had light shed on it, that our kids were successful, that they were given resources. And that was so atypical of a funder. And when my predecessor left, I just kind of had like a light bulb moment where I was like, that's what I want to do. And so I approached my now boss and, said, hey, how do you feel about me stepping in? And here I am.
Yeah. I myself, so I'm also, I mentioned earlier, not from St. Louis, relocated here for the job. I graduated college in 2022 and always wanted to work in pro sports. That's what I wanted to major in and wanted to pursue as a professional career. So this was my first job out of college, and relocated to St. Louis, which I probably couldn't have pointed out on a map.
before moving here, but
yeah, I knew I wanted to be in pro sports. I wasn't sure in what capacity or what volume I wanted to do. But, you know, within looking at this job and applying and learning more about the foundation and the organization itself, it was a very easy choice to pursue this one. It just spoke to me, and the position itself has helped me grow and learn and just be an all-around better person to help the community.
yeah, I'll say Devon has been, I would say, one of the primary advocates of all of our educational initiatives that we've been putting out over the past couple of years. She, you know, her love of reading and passion for that has been instrumental in sort of growing those programs. So just a little kudos to her. I appreciate it.
That is so amazing. I am personally not a sports girly. I am go team engineer all the way. But one of the things that I really love about St. Louis is culture, and St. Louis's team culture more specifically is that every sports organization, whether they're major league or minor league in the city, is always giving back and investing in the kids. And I know you guys mentioned the player that this award was started for, but my question to you is, like, I really want to highlight some of the other things outside of just Blues for Kids that the team is doing for the community, if you guys are interested.
Yeah, so I'll let Devon talk about our player programs, but I'll just say, just because we just had it, we do hospital visits. And so we just did those on Monday. And, you know, all of our players, this is such a busy time of year for them. They are constantly on the road, and for them to take time out of their day to go and visit these hospitals and visit kids and just literally make these kids' days, right? So one thing that we heard a lot during these visits this past round was how much it means to the parents, right? It means a lot to the kids, but it means even more to the parents sometimes. And so just, you know, having them take 5 minutes, take a picture, sign a puck, and just give them a little bit of a pep talk, I think really goes a long way. But I'll let Devon talk about our player programs, because that is at the core of our player engagement, and they're really wonderful.
Absolutely. The player engagement is a huge piece. I mean, a lot of these kids that maybe are familiar with hockey, these are their idols. These are people that they look up to and, you know, they want to be someday. And even kids that maybe haven't been to a hockey game before, never even watched a game on TV. It really is inspirational to see our players engage with kiddos in the community. So a couple of our programs are Braden Shen, our captain, has Shen's Friends, which invites groups of 12 to his personal suite that he uses throughout the season to donate into the community. Brings kiddos from like St. Louis Children's Hospital, Friends of Kids with Cancer, and a number of other groups. They get to enjoy the game at a suite and then do a post-game meet and greet with Braden and get to share their experiences with him and what they're battling and how it's just making their day. Another one is Colton Preco's Project 55. So that is a program that partners with Friends of Kids with Cancer and, St. Louis Children's Hospital and Ronald McDonald House. So it's a family of 4. They get to come and enjoy the game, get a goodie bag on behalf of Colton, and again, a post-game meet and greet to share their story and just receive a little upliftment and just, you know, shine a little light in a dark time. And maybe when they're not feeling their best, it's they'll just grace and peace. Our third program that we have is Krug's Crew, Tori Krug, who is unfortunately out for the season with injury. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Missouri is invited to games. It's bigs and littles. So a lot of these littles, it is so much fun. So a lot of these littles have not been to games, which is probably my favorite part, because we're like, you're going to have fun. It's going to be such a cool experience. They get to sit on the bench and watch warm-ups, watch the players zip by, get a goodie bag, get to enjoy the game. So a lot of the player engagement is just, it reflects really well on them. It reflects well on the foundation. The organization just speaks volumes on their character and how they actively benefit the community.
I love that each of you highlighted programs that were not about sports at all, but about, and not even about money, but how you and the players are able to have a connection with the community through like interpersonal means. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily get to see in sports. It's really about the people, and the philanthropy that you've all mentioned is about how the players are supporting the people. My last couple questions for you is, how do kids get involved? How do parents get involved? Do they want to be in the program to learn how to skate or play hockey? Or if they want to do a summer camp or come to a game, how does that happen?
Yeah, so visiting our website is the best place to see all of our resources. So nhl.com/blues. And then there's a community tab. And under the community tab is basically everything that our department is able to provide. So all of our youth hockey programming, all about our player programs. And actually this season we've started what's called our Community All-Stars. So coaches, parents, mentors, teachers are actually able to nominate a community all-star, a youth in the community that's done something special. And then that kiddo can receive tickets to a game. So that's under part of Shen's Friends this season. So if parents want to nominate, that's a great way to get involved.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, and then if they want to find out about the camps or any other projects, all of it's on the
Yes,
tab
all of
as
it will
well?
be on that community tab. Yep.
I'll say there's a youth hockey roadmap, same thing under that tab, youth hockey folder. It'll take you to a roadmap. So it's like, there's different options of, has your kid even been on the ice before, to, your kid plays hockey, but where do you go next? So it's really, really helpful to finding next steps from youth hockey.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We're super excited to catch a game with you guys this year. Thank you guys for supporting our Regional Kindergarten Access Guide. And please visit the Blues website to learn more about the team and the Blues for Kids initiative and how you guys can support.
Thank you so much. We are so excited to support.
So
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys.